Good morning, y'all. If you are planning a trip to the Outer Banks, whether you've been here before or not, you need to watch this video. My name is Randy Heinzel, and I'm the father in Father and Sons Fishing, which is the name of our YouTube channel where this video was originally posted. Along with my wife Allison and our boys Alex and Ryan, I'm going to show you, in no particular order, the top 10 things you need to do on your next Outer Banks trip. Now, of course, there are way more than 10 places to see or things to do here on the Outer Banks. But in this video, we're going to focus on 10 things that almost anyone here has access to, and best of all, everything, except for 2 items, are free. I've also got tons of little bonus tips and tricks, sort of Outer Banks hacks, that are going to make your trip here even more enjoyable. So let's jump right into it. First on the list is sunrise on the beach. There is something magical and spiritual about seeing the sun come up over the ocean. And so for at least one morning when you're here, this is how you need to start your day. A cool sunrise bonus tip is that most of us here on the East Coast are used to the sun coming up over the ocean. The sun rises in the east, right? Well, there are some beaches here on the Outer Banks where the sun does not rise over the ocean. So if you're not familiar with the geography of the Outer Banks, look at a map, particularly the southern Outer Banks beaches, and even better, go down there and experience the sunrise for yourself. So next up we have the Wright Brothers Memorial, which is right back up here over my shoulder. And if you haven't been inside the visitor center, you should go pay a small fee and check it out, because you can see a replica of the actual plane and you can read all about the history of the Wright brothers and their flight attempts. And you can go up on the hill and actually see where the first flight, which was a series of 4 flights, where those took place. And if you consider how much air travel has changed humanity and the world as we know it now, it is amazing to think that that first flight took place right here in the Outer Banks in 1903. Now, a bonus tip is that if you don't want to pay the money to go in the visitor center, or you're running short on time, you can go to the side street where we are, which is Collington Road, and you can get a really good view of the memorial for free.
Next up are the giant sand dunes of Jockeys State Park in Nags Head.
Behind me is the ocean, and if we go over here, we have the Sound. And then the middle is this beautiful giant state park, Jockeys Ridge.
Let's go! We're the king of the mountain!
Hey, baby.
Oh, yeah! Oh.
Nice catch. Now, a bonus tip is that during the day in the summer, it gets really hot here. So I would recommend coming early in the morning or later in the evening. But there's another really cool way to beat the heat, and that is to hike the trails in the back or the sound side of the park, because there are some really cool hiking trails back here. And there's a really cool sound side beach that has extremely shallow water, which is great for kids. Next on the list is shelling. The beaches of the Outer Banks are great for finding seashells, and anyone from a little kid up to their grandparents can have a great time exploring the beaches looking for shells. I have a lot of experience shelling here in the Outer Banks. I've had some great trips over the years, and I actually made a whole video dedicated to help you maximize your chances of finding shells. And so I'm going to link that video right up there. You should definitely watch it if you're serious about finding good shells here. Now, an important tip is that the early bird finds the shells. Another way to say it is that if you're out shelling, the worst thing you can find is someone else's footprints. And another tip is to go to the most remote beach possible, because that's just going to maximize the chances that no one else has explored that section of beach. However, you can find shells on any stretch of beach here in the Outer Banks. Another cool bonus tip is that it doesn't take much time or effort to know the names of the shells you're going to find. Check these out: scallop shell, slipper shell, shark eye shell, my son Ryan's favorite shell, olive shell. This happens to be a lettered olive, channeled whelk, lightning whelk, and a knobbed whelk. Now with these 2 whelks, another cool trick is that a lightning whelk has the opening on the left. So when you see a whelk and the opening's here on the left, that's a lightning whelk. If you know the shells I just showed you, you'll be able to identify the vast majority of shells you find here in the Outer Banks. And I left one shell off the list, and it's a really, really special shell. It's the state shell of North Carolina, and that's the Scotch bonnet. Now this leads us to the next thing on the list, because there is one place in North Carolina that is by far the best place to find Scotch bonnets, and that is Ocracoke Island. Hi, baby. Oh.
Here's my shadow, folks. How you like my shadow?
Next up on the list is one of the two things that isn't free, but if your brain is wired like mine, it's essential if you're coming to the Outer Banks, and that is fishing. Whether you're offshore fishing, nearshore fishing, inshore fishing, surf fishing, sound fishing, wave fishing, freshwater fishing, the Outer Banks is one of the best fisheries in the country, if not the entire world.
Oh my God, don't spool me. Oh wow, this is a big fish. It is. Oh, it's pulling a bit. Yes! Oh wow.
Alright, I got like
Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna get this one back in the water.
Tell the people it was just a fluke, you caught that.
The fluke.
Yes! Wow. All right, Alex, tell the people what kind of fish you just caught.
A black sea bass.
Number 28 on the day. Oh, that's a good one. Hello, bluefish. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we want, guys.
Now, an important bonus tip for anyone who's going to be doing surf fishing is to get a beach driving permit. The Cape Hatteras National Seashore, which is basically most of the Outer Banks south of Nags Head, has several beaches that allow driving, and this gives you so much more access to finding places to fish. It's also a good bonus tip for shelling as well. The entrances for driving on the beach are called ramps, and they're all numbered. We're going to talk more about ramp 4 in just a second. Now, all the numbers might seem confusing at first, but once you get to know them, it's almost like knowing street signs. Now, the good news is these beach ramps are accessible to everyone. If you don't have a beach driving permit, they all have parking lots where you can park and get out and walk and explore the beach. And if you choose to drive on the beach, in addition to having the right vehicle, one of the most important safety measures is to air down your tires. Well, what happens when you're ready to leave the beach? That leads us to the next bonus tip. Several of the beach ramps have places nearby where you can air your tires up for free. I happen to be at the Oregon Inlet Fishing Center right across the street from ramp 4. And that brings us to the next place on our list, Oregon Inlet. Oregon Inlet is one of the few places on the Outer Banks where the sound and the ocean connect. On both the south and the north sides of the inlet are endless places to explore by foot, car, or boat. Spanning Oregon Inlet now is the Bass Knight Bridge. That's the taller bridge you see in the background. It opened in 2019. But for over half a century before that, people crossed the inlet on the Bonner Bridge, seen in the foreground. This is the Bonner Bridge on the left, just before it closed. And now on the left is the Bass Knight Bridge, just after it opened. A bonus tip that's completely free is to go to the fishing center around 4 p.m. and you can see the boats unload their catches onto the dock. Another bonus tip is to check out Ramp 4 right across from the fishing center. Whether you're walking or driving, after going down the ramp, turn right, follow the water's edge, and you will come across the newest shipwreck on the Outer Banks, the Ocean Pursuit. The Outer Banks has some of the best known lighthouses in the world, and when you're here you should make a point to visit some, if not all of them. The northernmost one is the Currituck Lighthouse in Corolla. Now bonus tip, I said Corolla, not Corolla. And if you've been a chronic Corolla mispronunciation offender, don't worry, I was in your boat for several years. Next, a little further south of Nags Head, we have the Body Island Lighthouse. And another bonus tip here, it's pronounced Body Island, not Bodie Island. Further south, we have the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. We are at the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse.
Hey, North Carolina! Yeah! Boy, okay! It looks like it's falling.
And finally, on Ocracoke Island is the Ocracoke Lighthouse.
It's actually really tall. I mean, from far away, when you're like on the beach on Ocracoke, it looks like small as a pea.
Next on the list is the only other thing that isn't entirely free, and that is go crabbing. It doesn't require a lot of equipment or expense to get the necessary stuff to go crabbing. Plus, it's a lot of fun, and you'll get a really delicious meal out of it. Now, bonus tip number one is that these collapsible traps are the most efficient way to catch crabs if you're crabbing from a pier or dock or the bank. And on our YouTube channel, we have several crabbing videos in the Outer Banks, and we also just posted a video where we gave you 3 simple hacks to make these traps even more efficient. And I'll post that video right up here. Oh yeah! Oh, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it! Whoa, dude! Oh, you got one, buddy? You got a couple of them. Oh my God!
Oh, that's a lot.
He got like 3 keepers. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Pull it in, pull it in. That's a keeper. That's a big one. That's a big one. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh, Mom, yeah, that's a keeper.
Good. Oh, that's definitely a keeper. Now, bonus tip number 2 is bring a pair of tongs. Unless you're an experienced crab handler, you're at high risk of getting pinched, and it ain't no joke if you get pinched by a blue crab. So the safest way to handle them is just simply to bring a pair of tongs. Next on the list is one of my favorite places in the entire Outer Banks, and that's the Nags Head Woods Preserve. Now, a bonus tip is that a lot of this is actually located in Kill Devil Hills, and unless you know exactly how to get here, it's almost impossible to find. But that's actually one of the reasons I love this place, because you can go just a couple minutes off the main drag and be completely lost in this beautiful coastal forest.
Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
The best ways to get here are to take Ocean Acres Drive or Martin Street in Kill Devil Hills, turn away from the ocean and just keep going, and you'll eventually find the place. And one more bonus tip for those hiking here in the warmer months, bring your bug spray. All right, y'all, that is gonna wrap up this video. Now, nobody needs help enjoying the Outer Banks, but hopefully this video will help you enjoy your time here even more. But most importantly, have fun and cherish the time you have to spend here. And if you're lucky enough to get to spend that time with loved ones, cherish them even more. Take care.